Nicheknights, one of Arknights' classic playstyles. Is the game too easy? Is the game not interesting when you have access to a stupidly overpowered map-clearing character? Try Nicheknights. Limit yourself to a few options, really start to understand mechanics, push yourself to think tactically, make every stage a puzzle. I've been playing Arknights Endfield for several hours now, and I was starting to wonder, is Nicheknights, as we know it in Arknights, possible in Endfield? Technically, yes. In practice, not really. Let me explain. In Endfield, you can make niches based off of arts elements, factions, classes, or what have you, but this doesn't really change the gameplay in any major way. For Arknights, limiting your options forces you to interact with bosses in different ways, making you rely on techniques like deployment order and split boxing, and it turns every single stage into a puzzle. The difficulty comes from understanding how your operators interact with enemies, and the game as a whole. The enemies are always heading toward the blue box, so you are also on a timer to deploy operators to stop them. For Endfield, the difficulty of fights does not hinder on fundamentally understanding the game or boss mechanics like targeting of unavoidable attacks. Instead, the difficulty of fights comes down to a series of attacks that you need to learn how to dodge. And dodging is a thing that all characters can do. There is a distinction between ranged and melee characters, but ultimately this just changes how far away you are from the boss and changes when you need to dodge. So what does playing a niche in Endfield actually change? Fundamentally, nothing. To not sound overly negative, the combat in Endfield is actually quite fleshed out and good. It's very fun. There are different status effects that have to be activated by inflicting enemies with 2 different skills, certain arts effects that can only be achieved through using 2 different types of arts. Characters all have combo skills that can only be activated under certain conditions. The combat is interesting and flashy, and it plays very smooth. I don't want to confuse you, it is lots of fun. However, limiting yourself to the same kinds of niches as Arknights only changes how long it takes to defeat enemies. You might not be able to use combo skills or apply certain arts effects, but this doesn't change how you play the game, it just ultimately means that you need to dodge more and wait longer to defeat enemies. And time is not of the essence with these fights. There is no timer, not that I want one, and there is no blue box. You have to charge SP to use skills and ultimates, but you can just keep running around and dodging to wait for that to charge. The only thing really limiting you here is your companion's AI not knowing how to dodge attacks. This of course depletes their health when they get hit, and if other characters die, they are gone for the rest of the battle. But once again, if they die, that just means that you need to dodge more and wait longer to defeat enemies. For Enfield's combat, the optimal way to play is chaining together combo attacks and skill activations and composing a team that synergizes well in order to achieve those things. Like I said before, each combo attack needs different requirements to activate, so having a team that can fulfill those requirements allows you to activate those skills. Now, as I've said, if you were to limit these interactions by only using certain characters, it just makes the fights more tedious. So playing Nicheknights as it has been defined in Arknights is actually less fun if you were to apply these concepts to Endfield. Now, does this mean that some form of Nicheknights won't exist in Endfield? No, of course not. I'm sure we will see solo op clears and speedruns of fights, no-hit battles, no healing items, no armor, stuff like that. We will still see self-imposed limitations to keep fights interesting and fun, because that is what Nicheknights has always been about, making a good game even better. As of right now, Nicheknights has become a sort of true endgame for Arknights, and it was something that got me to really explore the game and find a niche that was fun for me. I don't think I would be playing Arknights as long as I have if it weren't for Nicheknights. Now, I have been having a lot of fun with Endfield so far, and I want it to succeed like Arknights has. And I know that our community will be able to turn the game into something more than what it was made to be, and give it the same staying power as Arknights has. So, after all of that, again, is Nicheknights possible in Endfield? Yes. It's just going to look very different than Arknights, and that is not a bad thing. Build your bird, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.